Welcome back. I want to talk for a minute about a really important shift that I think we as pastors, leaders, parents need to be attentive to. We talked in the last video about how we understand the pain that we're in, right? And it's important to know when we're in pain and what the pain is that we're in, because our engagement with our pain has a lot to do with our ability to connect with other people. That actually, when I get lost in my own experience of pain, I'm not a very good leader. I'm not a very good parent because I'm stuck within myself and have a difficult time being present and being available for those around us. So for parents and for leaders, being able to do something with the pain that we're experiencing is really important for us to be able to walk out the responsibilities that we hold towards those around us. So if you have not yet watched the first video in this series, I want to encourage you to jump back and watch that. I really unpack just briefly when I talk about the pain that we're in, how we understand that. I pull apart the difference between internally oriented pain and externally oriented pain and the significance of noticing how we respond to those different kinds of pain. So if you haven't had a chance to watch that, this is a good time to stop, go back, watch it, and then catch up here, because what I want to talk about for a few minutes right now is the first shift that we as pastors, leaders, parents need to be attentive to practicing. And this is a shift that primarily has to do with moments when we experience internal pain. It applies also to external pain, but I really want to highlight when we have moments when we are internally crushed, right? Our pain pulls on things of worthlessness, of inadequacy, of not measuring up, of not being good enough, and we cope with that pain, blaming others or shaming others. What we really end up losing is any capacity for empathy. Because we know that reactivity and empathy are mutually exclusive. I cannot both be reacting to my pain and present and attentive and experiencing and looking into your world at the same time. I have to pick one. So for us to be attentive to moments when we are in pain, so that we can then actually shift from a place of reactivity to a place of empathy. And when I talk about empathy, I mean our capacity to see someone else's experience, whether or not we agree with that experience, whether or not we think that experience is valid, whether or not we're having that experience ourselves, the relevancy, our own perspective on it, those are not relevant. What empathy means is I can understand how you're experiencing this. I can see how this moment is impacting you this way. Right? With kids, with people that we lead, there are a lot of moments when they're having reactions, experiences that I might even feel are a bit nuts. Like, why I would not respond that way. I don't feel that way. This doesn't make any sense to me. And if I get stuck in my own pain, I will miss out on an opportunity to actually connect with them and help either my children, to help the people around me to walk out of their own pain. So this first shift that I really want us to be attentive to is the shift from a place of reactivity to a place of empathy, where I can see someone else's experience. Because empathy is what opens us up to connection. And right now, in our current era of time, we need connection. I think this is true all of the time, but we're living in a world right now where there are significant deficits of connection, significant deficits of people available to be connected with. And if we have an influencing role in someone's life, if we are a leader, if we are a pastor, if we are a parent, it is really important for us to be available to others as a source of connection. And we won't be available if we aren't able to be empathetic, to see their experience. And we won't be able to be empathetic if we're living in a place of reactivity. So the first thing that we have to do is notice, what is our level of reactivity? Am I shaming myself? Am I beating myself up? Am I spinning? Am I being passive aggressive, which is kind of that pushing other people away? I can be passive aggressive to others. I can be passive aggressive to ourselves. So we're starting by noticing, am I dealing with internal pain, which is causing this reactivity in me? I need to be able to identify that. I need to be able to shift out of that from a place of reactivity to a place of empathy, to open myself up to see someone else's experience so that I can lean into that experience, so that together in a place of connection, we can walk out of or be in together whatever that moment is. So I'm going to pause here real quick, and I actually want you to take a moment and breathe. I want you to settle for a moment, and I want you to think about the interactions that you've been having in your life today, this week. Are there places and moments that you found yourself having a bit of difficulty getting into the experience of somebody else, of really understanding why they're experiencing what they're doing? Or maybe you're able to understand it, but it flips you out and you're mad about it, and you have a hard time being patient with them in their experience. Right? If that's happening for us, that's reflective that we're having a bit of trouble getting out of reactivity and into empathy, which is really inhibiting our connection. So I'm going to talk a bit in the fourth video about how to make that shift. But I want us to pay attention. If you're a parent, a pastor, a leader, I want you to log in your mind that when we are experiencing pain, we're going to need to be really intentional to be practicing shifting from a place of reactivity to a place of empathy.